occurred to me, yeah, but for your early videos, you were really writing in a writer's group, sort of.
Yeah.
How's that working now?
Okay, so I used to write in this writer's group, and it was really wonderful and amazing, and I would sit across the table from my friends Maureen Johnson and Emily Jenkins, whose writing name is E. Lockhart. She just won a Prince Honor for The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks. Maureen Johnson wrote 13 Little Blue Envelopes and several other great books. And we would sit at this table together in a coffee shop, and we'd write together for 6 hours a day, and it was really wonderful and idyllic. And then I moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, and everything fell apart. They still write together, and they have a great time. And Scott Westerfeld replaced me, which is cool. So yeah, no, they still write together. I just don't write with them. I wrote all of my books except for Paper Towns by myself. So I'm back to doing that. It's hard in some ways. It's isolating. Writing is isolating generally. But I was talking to my therapist about this. Is that too much information? I was talking to my therapist about it the other day, and I was complaining about how writing is isolating. And then she pointed out that life was isolating. Which is true. Yeah. Yes?
Alright, this is not intentionally stupid, because I ask it of everyone cool I meet.
Okay.
What is your favorite type of cheese?
My favorite type of cheese, that's the question. Munster? It's like when you say you're from Birmingham, Alabama, and there's that one person who's like,
in one of your Question Tuesday sessions, somebody asked you if Hank's book was any good, to which you replied, quote, I still haven't read it.
I have read it now.
You have read it now.
I have. So my brother is writing a novel that's set in a sort of well-established science fiction world where previous stuff has been set. Yeah, I think it's really good. There are things that every young writer has to learn how to do, but I think it's really I've really enjoyed reading it so far. So I don't know if it will ever see the light of day, but if it does, it'll be an interesting treat. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I don't think that's a title actually.
You said you face certain events in your books that happen in your life. Do you face people?
Do I base people in my life on characters? It's funny because I always say no, but then one time I was doing a reading in Atlanta, Georgia, and I said, and my best friend from high school was there, and someone said, which of characters in Looking for Alaska are you most like? And I said, Todd, why don't you answer that question? You've read Looking for Alaska, and you're my best friend. And he said, I don't know, he's like, I don't remember his name, but the one who is clearly you. And I was like, okay. And he was like, the one who's best friends with the one who's clearly me. Which is pretty true, it has to be said. I mean, I basically am lying when I say that I don't base the characters on people I know. I don't base, the characters in Looking for Alaska are mostly based on people I know, to be totally honest. I hate saying that, but it's true. Yes?
So, you used to talk really slow.
Yeah, in old videos?
You talk really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get asked to slow down when you're doing interviews and stuff?
Do I talk fast, like, regularly? Like now? Do people ask me to slow down because I'm talking too fast? It's funny, I used to talk really slow in the videos, and now I talk much faster in the videos because I'm trying to include more words in the same amount of space. It's not space, is it, Daniel? What is it?
Anybody?
Time, same amount of time. So I'm trying to include more words per minute so that you have a more enjoyable experience, both as a video watcher and then also here. If you've ever watched me on Blog TV, you'll know that I actually don't talk that fast. I'm nervous now, so I'm talking fast, and then when I do the videos, I talk fast. But in real life, I almost talk improbably slowly, and I never know I never know the noun for anything. Like a lot of people I know like this, so I'll be like, we need to get the thing. And then I'll pause and I'll be like, the umbrella, no. I'll go through all the nouns I know. Like the car keys, Alright, a couple more questions. Yes.
I think most ago you said that writing kind of leads to conclusion almost.
Uh-huh.
How does that work in keeping writers in? You said previously at the beginning that you wanted people being able to understand each other more. How does writing kind of achieve that?
It's a good question. So, like, given that writing is isolating and secluded, how does writing help me feel more connected to people? The answer is that I'm not very good at being connected to people in real life, to be totally honest with you. And I don't think that that's my specialty. And I think that I found it easier in some ways, particularly when I was younger. I found it easier to try to relate to people through a sort of abstracted medium, you know? And I also think that in some ways books are uniquely positioned to help us imagine what it's like to be other people, because no matter how close someone is to me as a friend, they're still a friend. Like Daniel is a really close friend of mine, but when I think about him as a really close friend of mine. I don't think about him as like Daniel, an entity separate from me, John Green. And when I'm reading a book, I do think about the characters as separate from me. You know, I think about the characters. I'm able to get inside of people's lives in a way that makes them, in some ways, more real to me than even my close friends can be, because my close friends are always seen in the context of me, whereas these book characters don't have to be. So that's how I guess I would answer the question. Yes.
How do you explain that? But I think it sounds when they break into SeaWorld.
Yes.
And the snake bites Margot. Is that like a biblical reference to the snake in the jungle?
In Paper Towns, when they break into SeaWorld and Margot gets bitten by the snake and Q sucks the poison out of her ankle, is it a biblical reference? It's not really a spoiler. It occurs on like page 42. I mean, sorry if you haven't made it to page 42. It's your fault, really. It is a bit of a biblical reference. It's also a reference to a bunch of other snake bites in history that are biblical references, you know. So yeah, but it is I think in some ways maybe a biblical reference. I wanted to get, this is the thing I really wanted to do. Okay, so if you read the book up to page 42, you'll know that this guy dies, Robert Joyner dies, and they see his dead body when they're little kids, Margot and Q, and this kind of connects them. And when she's biking away, she's biking in front of him because he doesn't want her to see that he's crying. He sees that the blood of the dead guy is on her foot and her ankle and her shoe, I guess. And then, you know, it's like the dead guy blood was on her, but it wasn't on him. And then when they're at SeaWorld, because like her blood is in his mouth, the dead guy blood is kind of transferred to him. Not to get all Twilight on you. That's my attempt to write vampire fiction. Hey,